Welcome back to another episode of More to the Story, the Guy Edition. All right, Farron is at home. We actually she had something to do this morning, so I told her I'd take care of the 2 episodes today, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, we started off talking about something wild because, as I said, the conversation lingered over, but that's not what's going to be the basis of the conversation today. I'm going to introduce the guests, and then we're going to get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, to my left, we have actor, comedian, writer, producer, editor, extraordinaire, clothing line designer. You see the hat.
Oh, man.
You see the hat. You see the shirt. Your story matters. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Welcome to the show, Mr. Keenan Baker.
Appreciate it. I mean, Keenan Baker. I mean, shit, AKA Goose. They didn't call me Goose hella times in my comment section.
It's all right.
Yeah, they each other stunt doubles. To my immediate right, man, this is a fellow St. Louis native. He is a producer, content creator. He's a cinematographer. He does videos for. I mean, if you got the budget, he can fuck with you, but you got to have the money. I'm going to be honest with you. He has an amazing podcast series called Creators Buffet. I did it. He's had a lot of people on there. But again, St. Louis native, you know what I'm saying? Homegrown, been out here doing this goddamn thing. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Welcome to the show, Mr. Rich LaRue.
What's up, my
guy? Yeah.
So happy to be here, man. Once again,
this nigga looks like a music producer. I'm not gonna hold you. You look like a nigga that's like, all right, just go ahead and get in the booth and we're gonna just try some stuff out.
He do like so they turn the board right now.
Okay,
we just gonna see what happens. We just gonna see what happens real quick.
Is that better? That's a little bright. That's a little bright.
Keep it, yeah.
And lastly, but definitely not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have the handyman extraordinaire. I mean, there's not much this man can't do. He's been doing a couple videos with his brothers, his new series, and it is hilarious. He is the tour manager. He is the office specialist of operations, and I don't know. I mean, anything that requires a hammer or a screwdriver, this is our go-to guy. On top of being super organized with our touring and dealing with all of these different personalities, because we a lot. Me, Kev, Tony, now Brandon Lewis, Mel Mitchell, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. Angel at one point, he was dealing with all of us, and he got 2 baby girls at home, and y'all know the rest, ladies and gentlemen, the immaculate beard of Mr. Greg Gooseby.
How y'all doing? Yeah.
All right, so I got a fun fact about each one of y'all that I want to kind of jump into, and then we got to get into it. Y'all would never notice looking at him. He's from Georgia, okay? But Greg is a big country music fan.
So I'm low-key. I got a little crush on Carrie Underwood. You know, I listen to a little bit of country, Tim McGraw, Rascal Flatts. Yeah. So, my guy, I rock with you.
He likes it to the point where he does country music.
Really?
Okay, so here's
amping.
He's amping this up 1,000%. Now, I do like country music.
Yeah.
But I can't name them off like my man just did. I would prefer listening to country music. You gave me I listened to it before anything else. I just don't know the artist like that. I don't know. I like listening to it.
Yeah.
Not creating it. I created a hook. A hook.
Is it a song?
I'm 40 years old. Well, I'm 39 right now. Just one out of 40 years, man.
Hey, man. Listen, Samuel L. Jackson did get his start to what, 41?
Something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, you got me on that one then.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, it ain't never too late to chase that dream, brother. Mm-hmm. It don't take much, Greg. You got one Papa song, you could be the Lil Duval of country music. You come out with some fire-ass singles, and that's it. O.T. Genesis ain't never gave us an album, but he got some fire-ass singles.
He has it?
Facts. I never thought about that.
Got some fire-ass singles.
Oh, that's news.
I didn't know that.
And you know who you look like from Atlanta?
Hold up.
Y'all sound just alike with the same look, same hair, beard, everything.
Who you talking about?
Mr. Willie Moe Jr. P-Dub. Pretty Willie. Remember
Pretty Willie.
Pretty Willie, Suella.
My life is like a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Bro, he went to gospel now, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you.
Me neither. I'm lost too.
Does he have a podcast or something?
Yes.
This guy, we went to Essence Festival, and he's gospel now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it might be the guy this guy thought I was at Essence Fest.
Oh,
Like, I'm gonna show you first. Don't just look like him sitting right there.
Kind of resembles him.
Bro,
it kind of. He's like a little bit slimmer in the face,
Like-
but
seriously.
Yeah.
Hey,
If you-
put him on, give him that close up real quick. I mean,
Hold
Just
on.
another bald head dude with a beard, man.
it's kind of how it
Greg got
goes.
way better eyebrows than eyelashes, rather.
Hold on, wait a minute. I want to get a good one where it's all the way exposed.
That was a good one for
That
the
was a
camera.
good one?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
let me
was
go
even
back
the
to
camera.
that. Where'd it go?
I can give it to him.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get in on that. Let me see.
Wow.
Let me see. I'll get it closer to that.
What's that?
Willie
Man,
Moses.
that's
Boy.
Greg right there.
Oh,
That's
my
his
goodness.
headshot. That's Greg headshot right there.
That's my guy, man. Big shout out to Peter.
Okay.
Willie Mo Jr.
Next up, Mr. Keenan Baker.
What you got
A
about
lot
me?
of you guys already know this because you might have been watching his podcast, but Keenan is a big anime fan.
Oh yeah, that's the
Big anime fan. Like not just like, I watch a couple videos. Like they had a whole podcast centered around anime called Animation.
Wow.
And they broke down. Like if you were a guest, they gave you a title to look up. You watch it when you come on the show. Y'all discuss that actual movie or
That's
that actual episode and like heavy into it. How did you get into that?
I mean, it started when I was just a kid. This, I guess, some illegal stuff. We had a friend that. This is when torrent sites were like just torrent sites. So like LimeWire, Napster didn't exist yet. So I guess it's kind of telling on myself. But this cat across the street, they was like Asian and white, and they were like just like, yo, this thing called Dragon Ball Z or whatever. And I used to see like I saw some stuff on TV a little bit, but it's like they got the movies. So they would used to go on the torrent sites, download the movies, which take like 9 hours because he was using dial up, and then it started from there with just Dragon Ball Z first, which is why I had the KB logo and the Dragon Ball Z letters. And then after that, I just got it. The animation style, if you like Ninja Turtles, you're like, oh, I'm a Ninja Turtles fan, I like fighting. It's like, this shit is on steroids. So if you was a Ninja Turtle fan, you should have loved something like anime because they was getting active. Like, and I love shit when they getting active, just throwing hands. I love that shit. So it was like, and the thing that we watched, one that I had you watch wasn't like a fighting one, but most of the time I'm into like the fighting shit, motherfuckers getting killed, because it's kind of cool to just watch something in a fantasy to be like, all right, this is not what I would ever do myself. But I want to watch somebody get sliced the fuck up or some shit to where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Can we curse on here?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's to his show, too. Yeah, you
What
know
the fuck that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what kind of got me into it. It's just like I just like the style of animation and stuff like that, and it's fun and relaxing to watch. Like it's you watching it in sub, which is Japanese most times, and it's if you can't read
Sub it
fast,
up.
you can't
Anime
read fast.
is relaxing to watch.
For me?
I've watched this One Punch Man with my little brother.
You don't like One Punch Man?
Hell no.
He bald just like us.
Look, this guy goes around. He's a one punch, literally what he said,
Yeah,
punching through people's heads.
yeah.
Just
Imagine you on Earth and your whole goal is to be the best fighter, and then you can never find a worthy opponent. That's his whole struggle.
That's his whole shit.
He's like, I can't find nobody ass to beat.
'Cause I'm too good. I'm too
I'm
strong.
too good at this shit.
And all he do is push-ups, sit-ups, and like pull-ups. That's all, and run like a mile. That's all he do.
That's
It
you,
is.
Greg.
You should love this nigga, bro. Be honest.
And then there's so many movies.
Yeah.
I watched Dragon Ball Z in school, but once it got to Cell,
Yeah.
after Cell, no, Majin Buu,
Yeah, Majin Buu. That's what it is. Yeah.
I was out
Yeah.
because it just keeps going and going.
It's
and
going now still.
I do like it, but that One Punch Man tripped me out when my brother showed me that.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to this next thing about Rue, and then I'll bring all of this together so we can get a little time in on the real conversation I wanted to have. Rich LaRue from St. Louis. I told you he's a content creator, producer, director. He does all this stuff. But did you guys know that Rich LaRue has a Ninja Warrior profile because he wanted to be on American Ninja Warrior?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, man.
I respect that.
I'm
Hell
like
yeah.
the little black ninja. I'm gonna tell you, I watched this movie called Tracer on Netflix one day, and that's what got me into parkour. I'm like, damn, I like how they just hop off the buildings to that building, sliding down stuff. I'm like, I like that. And and as a kid, I was climbing trees. I'm from Chicago originally, before St. Louis.
Oh, shit.
So I was just like, I was always doing stuff. I was always in the woods. So I did American Ninja Warrior for the first 2 years. The first year I did 6 out of 7 obstacles. Did not get aired because I didn't have a heart breaking story.
Mm. That's wild.
Like, go for
Yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's how it
game,
be.
yeah.
But I love it, man. I'm a daredevil, but as you get older, you get close to that 40 mark. I'm not always there. I'm not almost there yet. But you know, you just don't do things like you used to.
No.
You know?
You look at it. You look at the ground, and you be like, "Nah, not this
Yeah,
one. Not
but
today."
it's a lot of active things I still do because it's fun for me. Like to just figure out how quickly can you exit a situation with knowing how to utilize what's there. My brain see things that most people can't. Like I go climb a 10-foot fence and hop over, but you got to know how to do that. Like
Without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
That pull up at the end is the most dangerous part because that's when you scrape your arm and your chest trying to get over.
so that's why you practice muscle ups. You know how you pull up over the bar?
Yeah.
Once you practice that and you get that down, you're a beast.
So when you go to places now, do you be like, yes, I can get out of here? Like, are you like if I need to
Yeah.
scale that wall if some shit popped
Parking
off?
garages are definitely, yeah. I can show you a guy, imagine your apartment building, right? This is your balcony here, and 8 feet over is the other balcony. I just watched the guy go from each one.
I saw
in the
that one
center.
too.
You saw that?
Yeah, it's the same guy that flipped in between the side.
And he
Yes.
fell?
And fell,
With
but he
no
did it
rope.
again.
Yeah.
No rope, no
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, he's
just
doing
like
it.
straight going down. It's but you can't have fear. As you get older, we get a little bit fear when it comes to losing our life.
Yeah, mortality kicks in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I brought all of this up so we can. We running behind, but we're gonna try to get as much out as possible. We're all from different walks of life, but a lot of us go through a lot of the same things. Like Greg, you're married. Keenan, you're newly married. Rich, you're still out here. I be wilding. I be wilding. Greg, don't do that. Don't give them more than they need. But we all deal with a lot of the same stuff, and it's kind of spawned from a conversation that I was having with the fellas this weekend, and we just kind of bonded over how many similarities we have in being married or being in a dating field and trying to do something that is unconventional when you're in entertainment, whether it's, shooting videos for people, writing treatments and stuff like that, whether it's entertainment management or stand-up comedy or acting or podcast, whatever it is, balancing the love and the necessity for perfecting your craft with the love for your partner or just, having or finding a love life. How difficult is it for you guys to do that? I know what it's like for me, but like, Greg, you got two little ones too.
Yeah.
You got two brand new little ones. How difficult is it for you? And what are some of the pitfalls you run into when trying to get other things off the ground and still be a family man?
Well, the situation with me is my dream was never to be a entertainer or, social media comedian or anything. So I started out in facilities. So working with my hands, maintenance man, then started managing buildings. And my goal was to become a director, facilities director. So I was on my way there.
Yeah.
Wife gets pregnant, Netflix calls, hey, let's move to California. Boom. Now I'm in California. Don't need to work because the wife is making enough money.
Right.
I've been on call for 15 years doing HVAC and maintenance stuff. So now I'm like, shit.
Start over in a brand new
This
environment.
is a new weight off my shoulder. I'm good. Now I have to start completely over. Started getting into the social media department, doing all that stuff with you all. But then the wife loses her job. Right. So now we're in a situation where I have to put my big man pants back on, right? But you can't really, I'm putting them back on, but the money that I'll be making doing that wouldn't suffice for LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm in a
bind.
Yeah, a bind.
Now, before you go on, how do you deal with that frustration that comes along with that? It's like, damn, if we had never moved out here, we'd be straight, right? But at the same time, the opportunities that you've gained from being out here, kind of dwarf possibly staying back where you're from. But now you're in a situation where you're starting from the ground up.
Yep.
And even starting from the ground up, giving it your all, isn't financially enough. And you got a new baby.
Yep.
And now you're feeling all the pressure that the societal norm of a male provider carries in a brand new market. How do you deal with that shit?
Man, I talk to my wife and I let her know exactly how I'm feeling. And I also lift hella weights. Y'all better get out, sweat,
Oh boy.
get that stress up off you. Because boy, if you bury yourself in your house, you're gonna be total ill up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell her how I'm feeling, what's happening, just to get reassurance that she's not like, oh man, this fuck nigga ain't working. He ain't bringing enough money in. I'm making this, I'm making that. You know what I'm saying? So getting that reassurance from her that she's like, I know we're in this situation.
Yeah.
But let's just keep going. Let's keep moving. So having a partner and expressing that to her and communicating that to her without creating your own narrative.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, man.
naturally you're going to be like, oh
Yep.
man, she ain't trying to have sex tonight because I ain't bringing no money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me put a pin in that because Keenan, I heard that, oh yeah. And that shit sounded like it came from a real place. Does that piggybacking on like having that communication or allowing her access to the information so she doesn't create her own narrative?
It's both. It's like
Okay.
it's people always say communication is key in a relationship, but I think effective communication is really the key. So being able to communicate and you know understand each other the right way, and then giving her the space to be like, hey, look, this is what's happening. You know, I feel like I don't give all the information because I also don't want my lady to worry too much, and I know I got it because I know I can kind of have a moment and be like, oh shit, like if something's falling financially, I can get it back. But if I tell her immediately, she might be like, okay, what do we got to do? So I'd be like, all right, I keep some of the stuff in to me, and then I'd be like, I typically figured it back out.
Can I pin that real quick? Because this is something that I've recently dealt with when trying to plan something for someone to come to town. I didn't know all the plans. Farron is the type of person, she'd be like, hey, I'm going out of town this month. I don't know the dates yet, but I just want to put a pin in it, let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then she'll circle back and she'll tell me all the rest of the plans. Then she'll circle back and confirm everything and make sure I'm okay with it. I operate more like you. I'll give you all the information once I got a solution for it. But it's like, why am I bringing up all these pieces? Because that don't make any sense. So, I mean, we got into a big thing about this. And I had to understand that for her to feel comfortable, she needs to know the moving pieces. And that
Yes.
caused a lot of friction between us in the past because she felt like she was being left out of the decision making.
Right.
One of the first things we changed, or she changed me, was the happy wife, happy life. She was like, I didn't marry you to be a yes man. I need your opinion. Because if I'm fucked up on some shit, I need you to let me know. I need you to be man enough and I need you to be, what is it? Sure enough and confident enough to tell me when you don't like something. Because I won't know it and there's something to fester and start to build. So all I would say is I understand how you lead and how you make that decision, but you can also let her know, hey, this is going on, but I don't want you stressed because I already got this, and this to
Right.
take care of it. I just want you in on the communication and the planning so you know exactly what's going on at all times.
And we've had those discussions also because she's the planner. She's like, I'm like the dude that's like, I'm just gonna do something that day. You know what I'm saying? So she writes her day out the night before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
that's
And then wakes up in the morning and goes, all right, here are the keys to my day, in a
Yeah.
sense. And I'm gonna go through these things for the keys of my day. And so it's like, I understand that we kind of either have to intertwine our styles a little bit. And it's just like, it was still a work in progress. We have moments where we do well. We have moments when we don't do well. But we also do have we're still working at it with that.
I've during that conversation when me and Farron were talking about that, I did share with her my frustration. I told her, I was like, I feel like most of our marriage has been me coming up to your level to meet you. You know, when it comes to communication, when it comes to planning, when it comes to finances, it's always been me coming up to your level, not you coming to meet me at mine. And I will give her the credit because most of the times her way is better. I ain't gonna hold you. It is more efficient. It's more economically sound, and it makes for a better way of doing things. But I just wanted to give that because, like, you might not see the change immediately,
Right.
but if you pull the lens back, you see how much I've changed from the day we started this to where we are now. And sometimes I just need you to be a little forgiving and understanding of sometimes the slower process with other things because our entire marriage has been me coming to your level, me stepping it up. Very, very rarely have you come down to me. And I just need that consideration when dealing with patience with me changing.
Right.
Now, Rich, you're in a completely different field. You're a ninja warrior. You love taking your shirt off on pictures. You're a single man out here doing your goddamn thing. How do you balance a love life, your career, and I don't know if you're looking for a woman or you're just open to dating or you waiting for the right one or you don't even want to get involved in that type of shit while you're chasing a dream. How do you do what you do?
So here's my thing on that. I actually was in a relationship last year that I would still say is probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. And I think once you learn the values of who you are, you become grounded in knowing what you want and you understand what communication is, everything changes. When women speak about, oh, I'm focused on this, I can be focused on this, but when you date the right woman, when you date the right man, it brings everything together to where now I found my way of shutting those people down that have something to say. I want love. I'm a very loving type of guy. I love to love. And once I set my mind up that I want you, I'm all in. And, you know, I think that helps a lot with your relationship and just listening to what you were saying. When you have that trust factor where you know that this other person has your best interests, it makes everything go smooth to where you can have those difficult conversations. So I'm ready for that. You know, when the right person comes along, I don't mind entertaining a situation because that's how I feel life goes. And to be honest with you, a man finds a wife finds a good thing, but also a man's that find a girl, it gets you in more doors because now you're not a threat by yourself. There's certain jobs I can't do just because I'm single. Nobody's ever going to say that, but if you think about it, like even y'all, like, oh, let's have Rich probably come out for this. But he got to have a girl. If he ain't got no girl, it makes the sale easier to do more, which you gain more in your business.
Yeah, there's a lot of parties I go to. You got to have a lady with you, or you can't get in.
I mean, now I got options to, I can make a few phone calls, but I can honestly say I do not share my energy with everybody. I can't.
Yeah, you can't. You got to be very protective of it.
Yeah, and it's not like. I don't say that loosely how we all like, oh, we LA, we're not sure. No, I really don't, bro. I will really remove myself from any situation that I'm not excited about being in. I'm excited about being here. So I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I called Rich an hour before this show. He had plans and everything, and he changed his day to pull up. And that's some real shit. I appreciate that, but it also lets me know, like, when I told him what we were going to talk about, he's like, that sounds amazing. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Everybody I called, for the most part, were here today on some last minute shit, with the exception of Keon, because I talked to him last night, I think. But
call me Keon.
No, Keon's right there at the door.
Oh, what the hell?
That's why I was laughing.
I get called Keon so much. That's why I get called this nigga all the time. I get told I look like Greg and get called Keon.
You ain't got no identity.
I ain't got no identity, man. I'm Keenan Baker, man. I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
Keon Greg Baker. But I felt it was necessary to have this conversation because we get a lot of the good, and most of you guys know my situation. I'm poly, and a lot of people were questioning why we came out and how we managed, but a lot of people don't understand the level of communication that's required to survive this lifestyle and maintain this lifestyle. We talk about everything.
And that's what they don't do. That's why they can't have it. That's why even if you don't want to be poly, you can learn a lot from people that have that relationship because of the way that you guys communicate.
Yeah.
So many people that are single in their own individual situationships and marriages, they're insecure.
Yeah.
So that they're afraid to think about what the other person may think, not knowing that you speaking up in your present state of mind will allow the other person to open up if they're real.
And it like, I will say, I was a big stubborn ox, man. We get into it. First of all, I don't want to talk about it. Second of all, I ain't ready to talk for 4, 5, 6, 7 days.
Oh,
it's gonna be thick ass tension in this house. You can cut that shit.
Damn.
And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, you ready to talk about this? No? Okay, I'm not gonna force it. Whenever you're ready, let me know. When you're ready, we will set that time aside and do it. We don't run from the hard conversations. And that has helped us so much because one, it alleviates the opportunity for things to fester and carry on week to week, month to month. But also, the more we have those hard conversations, the less hard they are. It becomes easy to have a hard conversation.
Very
and then
true.
it goes into just having a conversation. Anytime we go on vacation, anytime we play or anything like that, we have a debriefing afterwards. We communicate so much now. Like, it's insane. Like, I've never communicated this much in any relationship, in any friendship, anything like that. And I think that's is so vital. Like you said, effective, not just communication, but effective communication is so vital for any relationship, but especially this relationship. How are you, each of you, we can start with Greg, with dealing with a hard conversation? Were you like me? Were you the ox, or were you one of the people like, all right, well, let's talk about that. Let's figure this out.
Man, it's hard for me to take things. I take things like she's disrespecting me a lot.
Yeah.
Right. When she just straight blunt with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, who you know?
Now
Who you talking to?
put it back on this nigga. You got to see his face when he did it, though.
Who is you talking to?
Yeah.
Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it don't even be that. She
Yeah.
be telling me the truth. Like, hey, we need to do this today. Oh, hey, we need to do this today. And I'm just like, nigga, we talk like.
Now, is it her approach that makes you feel that way? Or is it the fact that a lot of men don't like the authority?
Yes.
And so you telling me this, and then it's something that I was already going to do, or had already thought about doing, the way you brought it to me makes me feel disrespected or slighted.
Nah. The way my wife communicate with me, she's never disrespecting me.
Right.
It's all me.
Right.
Feeling like who you talking to. And it's never that. It's my ego.
Right.
And like, you're going to respect me type
Right.
feeling. I've been trying to push that
Mhm.
all out the door, because once that goes and you can really talk about it, you get her. I get her insight, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's where you coming from.
Mhm.
And now when she approaches me, she's like, hey, look, I'm about to say this. Don't take it. No
Oh,
type
so she
of way.
sets the
I
she
love
sets
that.
she sets the stage now.
Yeah, now she
That's
sets,
great.
she
That's
sets
great,
the stage
yeah.
for Rick, because it's happened so much
Yeah.
to where, you know, I shoot some jabs back because I feel like she's disrespecting me. But
Gotcha.
in reality, she's not. So she's like, look, I'm about to say something. You ready? And
Mhm.
I'm like, all right, go ahead. What's
Hold
up?
on, bro. Let's clap that up for great communication.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's so small that could have turned to something so big.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all were able to talk through that
Mhm.
and alleviate that problem from continue to grow in future instances. And that's a big thing. But that's putting in the fucking work, bro.
Yeah.
My advice to men is your wife she's not one of them boys and niggas out in the street.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So don't take what she tells you. If she's like, hey, baby, it's 10 o'clock. You ain't got up. You ain't worked out. You ain't did this. You ain't did that.
Mhm.
What's up? Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Move, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Like-
has your best interest at
Yeah,
heart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that they say is not coming from a place of malice. It's coming from a place of concern
Mhm.
and well-being. Like, she's trying to make sure you stay on your square for the most part.
Yeah.
So, but us hearing it come at that way,
Oh.
especially if we ain't in the mood to hear that shit,
Yeah.
we immediately perceive it and we selectively hear it as, who the fuck you think you are sitting around here all goddamn day, ain't got up. I get it.
Yeah.
I completely get it. Now, last thing before I go to Rich, is this something that y'all just talked about amongst each other, or is this something that therapy helped with?
No. So we haven't been in therapy yet. But being around Kev and Melissa, damn near like therapy, because they have been in therapy. They did that Love Hour podcast. I was the one editing it, so listening to it every day, it was like, man, I'm be tripping.
Yeah.
You know? Also having a dad that was just straight military strict. You know what I'm saying? Don't you raise your voice. Don't you talk back. It's my way or the highway. That has to get up out of me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. That's a thing.
yeah. And it's hard. Fellas, put the camera on me right here. It's hard, man. It is hard.
Yeah.
But you got to let it go and let your wife talk, girl talk, whoever you dealing with, your partner. Just open your mind and listen, because now that I might ask too many questions now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Overstand.
oh yeah.
I want to overstand.
Pilot, homosexuality, trans. I'm like, so what's this? Tell me exactly how are you feeling about this? What do you feel like you was born like this, or did something
But
happen?
you want to know.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna open.
That's
I'm
growth,
asking
though, bro.
everything.
Greg, I remember who you were when you moved out here.
Oh, yeah,
So
man.
when I tell you that's growth for my boy, whoa,
Keep it
Rich.
real.
How do you go about these uncomfortable conversations, man?
So the way I see it is this: you have to, and the biggest lesson I learned from my last relationships and just reading so much, you have to know who you're dating. You have to know who you're dealing with, because as much as I can love all 3 of you or 4 of you as brothers, you can give me advice, but I can't necessarily use it because what works for you may not work with the individual person that I'm with.
Yeah.
So I was in a situation where she brought it to my attention, like, hey, if we ever get in a space where this is happening, let's make sure that we talk about this before we go to sleep, no matter what happens. That's a healthy boundary that you just can't just not accept.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
can't
mean?
ignore
So
that.
I think it's also getting older.
Yeah.
When you get older, you care less about, certain
Being
things.
white in certain situations.
Yes. So it's like, I want to have a conversation with you. And I think in all things, I don't care who you are, where you are, if you do things with love, it is always accepted. And for the person that knocks that in that conversation, I can't deal with you. So as long as I approach the situation like, look, this happened and I want to talk to you about it. So I'm setting the stage, but also people got to realize that you have to ask a person where they are presently, meaning they're at work, because you can't have a deep conversation with someone if they're already dealing with something. So knowing when to set it up so you can have that time so they can prep their brain for it.
Yeah.
That's the approach. So
That's a great thing. And I just to piggyback off of that, fellas, I know that feeling that we get when a woman says, hey, we need to talk. That feeling is bone. I don't even know. I can't explain it with regular words because I've been there. I don't have it as much, but I've been in that situation like, all right, what I do wrong now? What I fuck up? What didn't I do? All of that. But sometimes it's about, like, Farron will surprise me. And I ain't saying that like she doesn't ever admit. Like, Farron will often admit when she's wrong about something. And I appreciate her having that ability, because some people, men and women, can't do that. But sometimes when we're having that conversation, it might be about her being wrong. It might be about a party, or it might be about travel or something like that. But me going into it with that angst and that feeling that it's going to be a negative conversation sets the tone on my behalf.
Facts.
And now I'm going in super defensive. So I'm sitting like this, but I'm really sitting like, all right, so what? So I can block everything that you come with, because I'm listening defensively.
That's because we've been trained
Yes,
that when we hear that, to do that. Like what
Yeah.
you said. Like if you think about something in the Black community, when we say certain things being funny, we're only mimicking what we've heard as a child. You know what I'm saying? So we bring those same situations, like, eat all your goddamn food, do this and do that. Everything, we repeat that cycle. And the first book that I read that changed my life was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. When you're able to recognize your traumas and your triggers and things that you have unconsciously done your entire life, you want to change that, bro. Like with my son, he's 16, he's 6'1". I do not talk to him how I've been talked to my entire life. Like, and it's like something so small as how we project things and how we get so used to pleasing others. They give the story in this book that I read called The Master Itself with a little kid. And think about this and picture this. When your little child says that, I'm full, our parents like, man, you just want to go play, eat all your food, eat all this, I bought this, I'm struggling, whatever the case may be. We project all those issues onto a child, and now what do? They're like, if I eat my food, my mom's gonna be happy. If I eat my food, I can go get ice cream. If I eat all this, not knowing that he's probably full. So now that child grows up in the mindset of doing things that he doesn't want to do out of his own comfort just to please somebody else. And this is how relationships are. And that's why they're so jacked up. Because women and men are doing things just to please the other person that doesn't make them comfortable, because they're afraid to speak up. Because as a child, you've been conditioned to move that way.
That's why I'm fat. Mom will let me get up. Now I got to eat everything that's on my plate. You know what I'm saying? The kid, I would get mad when the kid be like, I don't want this. The friend be like, okay, well, you're done eating. Because I wasn't raised that way. I'd be like, give me that food. I'll pile it on my shit eating, because I was conditioned to eat all the food that's on your plate. You don't throw shit away in this house. Yeah. If you're done, wrap it up. Eat it tomorrow for lunch or something like that. And I never even correlated those two like that. God damn. That's
the master itself, bro.
That is good, Rich.
That was good, because, eat all of those vegetables.
Yeah. Because I worked hard for it. I got to do this. I put all this, and you ungrateful?
Yeah.
Not, hey, mom, dad, I'm going to be honest. I'm just full. I don't really want to go outside and play. But eat all your food. Well, can I eat it later on? It's like, damn, now this is how people get jacked up.
Yeah, that's true. That's something new to think about. Keenan, And we're about 10 minutes out from the normal episode, so I'm gonna tell the guys that are waiting out there that we're gonna get started 10 minutes late, so we can go ahead and finish it. I don't want to rush this conversation. I wish we could have got it started a little early, but this is so fucking good, and I feel like it's so necessary. And I hope that ladies, because it's mostly ladies that are watching, I hope you guys share this with some guys that can possibly enjoy this, learn from it. And they can continue to share it, man, because we're gonna do 2 of these episodes. I got a whole nother crew coming in right after this. But yeah, this is fantastic. Keenan, what you got?
I mean, there was multiple things that was just said here. That,
Right?
Because even the food thing, my dad used to be like, it was to a point where my dad was like, face the wall when you eat, and when you finish your food, come over there and show me your plate when you done. That's how my dad's military, my dad's Marine. So it was like,
Wow.
I grew up, you
Dad
know.
also a porn star. That's neither here nor
He
there.
did. He did amateur porn for a second. But when
What? That's a story for another episode.
whole other episode,
bro.
man.
I wasn't ready.
They showed me the video, like, what you think? So what I got to do better? I'm like, all right. Anyway, so both my parents are like New Yorkers, so they're both from Bedside. So it's like I grew up in a house of pit bulls.
Yeah.
So the way they communicated was just like, it was aggressive. It was yelling. At times it was domestic violence. And so my brother and I, we growing up in that. That's how we saw how to communicate. Now, for me, I knew that domestic violence is not the way I want to do things.
Yeah.
But verbally that was how I communicated. I was loud. I talked like a New Yorker back then. It was like my hands are like moving. And so
I can never see you doing that. That's so
when
crazy.
when I'm getting like, I don't even call it, because when I get angry, I get quiet. But when I get passionate, I get loud.
Yeah.
Same.
It's a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So
for
like
sure.
when I went to therapy, so like and talking to my therapist, I was like, why isn't my lady, when we talk is always like this, and I hate how she kind of communicates, like you said, she'll shut down for 4 or 5 days.
That was me.
And he was like, bro, you understand that you're bringing 2 different worlds together? He's like, I understand y'all both black, but he's like, y'all worlds are colliding and y'all not raised the same. Like you was essentially raised by 2 people from the streets that communicate like they from the streets. She wasn't. That's not how her parents raised her. They're very quiet. There's not really yelling in her house. So even with me, when I was communicating with her, at one point in time, when I would be talking passionately, I made sure, one, because she would say I seen her jump before, get kind of a little scared, a little afraid. So I would start to communicate from a further distance to be like, hey, I'm not going to do anything like that to you.
Right.
Also knowing that she doesn't do well when I'm like that. So
At that level.
right. So I had to work on my communication to bring it down to a level, but also too on her end, the 4 or 5 days shit, that ain't rolling with me. I'm not waiting for you for 4 or 5 days to get this shit together.
Nigga,
You
2
gonna
days
get,
ain't promised.
yeah,
Like-
and that's exactly my mentality. It's like, yo, I might not see you after this. Let's hit it now. And so for her, I would say, if you can't do it immediately, all I said was like, communicate to me like, hey, I'm still processing. Give me some time to process. But we got to pretty much nip this in the bud the day.
Yeah.
We can't really do this. We can't really do this 3 days from now, because it's like I said, tomorrow's not promised. And I was really, really big on that, because I've lost a lot of friends and family in the past 5 years, like over 10, 15.
Yeah.
So I was just like, nah, we gonna do this
Right now.
now. But I've done a lot better, and she's done a lot. We both worked on being a lot better on how we communicate to balance it out, because she needed to work on this side on her end. I needed to work on my side on my end to like bring it here. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much like, I was like kind of like, I guess, I understand where Greg's coming from too. It's like when somebody's taking a shot, you feel like it's a shot at your ego. I had to work on that too. As a dude, you lead with your ego.
Yeah.
We lead with pride and ego, with our chests out. So it's like you said, nigga, what if my issue was, don't talk to me, like, don't tell me to do something that you don't want me to do. Like, so she'd be like, yo, don't do this or whatever. I was like, all right, cool, I'll work on that. But then she'll do that same shit. And that's when my ego goes like, nigga, what the who what you talking about? You just did the same shit. What you need to get on. And so it's like, all right, one, we're different people. We operate differently. Have the patience to be like, all right, she might not even realize that she's even doing what she's telling me not to do on my end. So work on that, all that stuff like that. So it's still a work in progress for newlyweds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we still, I feel like we've done, I think the therapy has definitely helped us both out in a sense.
Yeah.
And not couples therapy. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of couples therapy, but I'm like, individual therapy is first.
Yeah. I needed to work on me first.
Then if you want to come, I feel like most of your issues going to be worked out in individual therapy, because there's a lot of shit from childhood, like you said. There's a lot of shit from your childhood, how you communicate, how you were triggered by shit, and you work on that shit as an individual. When you come together, you be like, oh, That's what it was. It was my parents. It ain't even you. It was some shit
Bro.
my parents did.
I am still one of the great things about therapy for me is, and I talk about this when I'm doing the ad, we tend to think about a lot of the shit that's stressing us. And because we thought about it in our mind, we feel like we've tried to figure out every way to fix that.
Yep.
But so much shit is discovered when you actually speak it aloud.
Mhm.
There have been so many times when I connected triggers from past traumas to my current life.
Facts.
And we have a dog. Y'all know the dog. I don't really fuck with the dog. I don't walk the dog. I don't feed the dog. I don't put water in the dog. But I don't fuck with this dog at all, shawty. Like, I don't like this fucking dog. I tolerate it at best. And he's a cute little dog. I'm not a fan of animals. And it wasn't until a week ago, me and Farron in the car. And I mean, he's a dog. He's had a couple accidents in the house, but for the most part, he's pretty solid. Unless he get into some shit, eat some shit he wasn't supposed to. But we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, I just don't like the smell of pee in a house. I was like, when I was growing up, me and my mom would get beat for it. Cause my sister's dad had a cat, and if he peed in the house or something, he would blame us. He'd be like, well, y'all must have been in his area, so he tried to move to another area to, like, mark his territory. Did y'all change the litter box? Did y'all move the litter box? Did y'all make sure he ate at the regular time? He would blame us for the actions of a cat. My mom would get beat. And I never connected those two until I was having that conversation. I was speaking aloud of why I didn't like the dog and previously the pee smell, and why it would just make me so angry when I walked downstairs if I smelled any sense of urine. I never said it aloud. I would just be sitting there stewing with it. But just from a conversation verbally, saying it aloud, I was able to pinpoint that. And I was like, damn, I gotta let that go.
So you still hate the dog now?
I don't hate him. Like, I ain't trying to get rid of him no more, but I still don't fuck with. That's their dog. That's that thing.
That's their dog. Yeah.
That's your people. I ain't gonna fuck it up. That's your people, but that ain't my people. But that's the thing with that.
And see, that's one of the things too that I've kind of almost mastered is being so completely grounded within myself that no one can throw me off. Because sometimes people have a one-track mind of, have you ever thought about the cat just decided to have its own idea? You know what I mean? So when people come to you, like even just listening to your situation, if you think about if a plane crashes and you land into the ocean, the fastest way to die is what? Panic. You know what I mean? So if you think about being calm in those situations, you're able to make it out of it. The same thing in a conversation. Why am I going to let somebody say something to me that gets me so riled up, that brings me out of my character more and more and more? And the more you do it, the more you lose yourself. And I've done that before. You know what I'm saying? So once you stay so grounded, they see that they can't get to you, so their respect level changes because they can't approach you the same way. So now you can have a healthier conversation in how you move because you're staying grounded. Like his tone, I can't even see him upset.
Man,
He too damn cool. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen that nigga. Look,
But but I can't see that.
well, here's the thing: when he gets upset, he's the same tone.
Yeah, and
It's
which is
just
scary.
It's
Yeah,
sterner.
exactly.
I seen this nigga Greg check this comedy manager when he was on the road because motherfucker tried to charge
That's
me
another
$80 for drinks.
podcast, man.
Another podcast.
I will say this. I'm glad you brought that up before we close. Kenny, when you were talking about how when you get passionate or you get upset and the difference between when you get passionate and you're talking with your hands, and I've realized that going into those conversations, kind of about what I was talking to you about, Greg, when you are going to it in the defense mode, you are already expecting negative feedback, negative reinforcement, all that type of stuff. So you're listening to respond. And then when you have that attitude, now the volume is increasing. Now you're cursing. Now the other person just wants to be heard and get out what the fuck they want to say versus listening and understanding and then taking it in, be like, damn, I did do that. Damn, you did. When Farron first told me, it was like, I tell you about everything. Even when I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You tell me some shit when it's out. And I was like, she was like, no, I came to you and I told you I was going out of town this month, but I didn't know the dates yet. And then I came back when I got the dates and said, these are the exact dates. And then I came back and confirmed, like, these are the exact dates. Are you still okay with
And
this?
it's a picture.
She gave
Checking off
nigga,
all
everything.
boxes.
I saw
she
her
went in the
check boxes.
pocketbook, got all the receipts, and I was like, damn, you right. You are absolutely right. And there's nothing I can do in that point except admit that I'm wrong and apologize and try to do better. I always say, like, every time we get into it, it's an opportunity for me to learn and me to love her better and mess up less. That doesn't mean that I'm now gonna stop messing up. That just means I won't repeat the same offenses that I've done in the past because now I'm in a different place of healing and learning from these mistakes. And it was like, oh, okay, boom, I did this. Okay, cool. Let's cross this up for yellow tape. So now I won't go back this way no more. Now I know to avoid that when I see myself going down this path or having this conversation or I'm about to plan something and I'm gonna leave her out. No. Boop, boop, boop. Let me hit this or her. Hey, we cool. I checked the calendar. It looks okay, but I just want to run this past you. Like, I never used calendars before my wife. Never. And we just started using it hard like 2.5 years ago, to the point where there was a time a couple months ago. And she was like, I told you that. I was like, you may have. I'm sorry, but typically we put stuff on the calendar, and I just didn't see it on the calendar. And it wasn't even to get it, but it was just like, she was like, damn, you're right. Because this is a protocol of what we said we were going to do to avoid these pitfalls when it comes to planning and miscommunication. And she was like, you're right. I missed that step. That's my bad, babe. I apologize. And it's like, when you are growing together, you're learning together, and it's not just about hearing that person, it's about effectively doing the things that you can to avoid those same pitfalls repeatedly.
Have you heard of this book called The Love Dare?
Nah, I never done
I
it.
recommend all y'all. It's kind of made to heal and fix broken marriages, but it's also a good tool to knowing how to move in a relationship. And it's I think it's like a 41-day challenge, and basically it gives you and your couple a challenge to do every day separately. I guarantee you that book for anybody, because with what you said, it's like, take the day to not want to be right when you want to be right, because it allows you to recognize your triggers in every situation of what you go through. Do some random acts of kindness just for the day, both of you, and then you write down the issues and what happened. Like, it's so dope. It's called The Love Dare. I highly recommend that book.
Listen, I hate that we have to end this, but we got another group of black men I want to get in here so we can talk about this stuff. We got some amazing things coming. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow all of these gentlemen. You guys want to give your handles, Greg, Rich, Keenan, and watch the growth of black men, man. Go ahead, Greg. Give them.
You can catch me on IG. That's GOOLZBY. On YouTube, me and Tank have a podcast called I can't even remember what we called it. Hold on. Not Man Shit. Hold on. Let Us Tell It.
Okay.
I always mix it up with Here's the Thing. But Let Us Tell It. Y'all know what's happening. Yeah. And follow my wife. You've Got Mail on IG.
She's blowing up on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. She over there. She's not a lawyer, but. So.
Yeah. That's her TikTok. Find that one. That's been going crazy. Rich, what you got for the people, bro?
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Rich LaRue, man, live right now with my guy to hear more, man. Look, y'all can follow me everywhere at Rich LaRue, RICHLARU. Also, follow my podcast. I kind of took a break because it's a lot of work. Got to create balance. But when I come back, I'm going to come back, and my podcast is Creators Buffet. Y'all can check out the episode with me and Tahir on there as well.
It's a good time. It's a good-ass time.
It's probably the best episode I think I've ever had.
It's a good-ass time. I love how Rich went right into host mode.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, it's your boy Rich LaRue. Thanks for tuning in. This is the MTV Real World. Go ahead, Keenan.
Yeah, at Keenan Baker on everything, KEENAN. Yeah, the Instagram is kind of starting to move up a little bit, so follow that. Doing like a lot of just dope things on there. I think we're supposed to be bringing Brutally Honest back with Keon. Keon's over here. He's probably going to another episode. We're gonna bring Brutally Honest back. We gotta have y'all on there, talk some shit. And yeah, man, just appreciate y'all, man. Just supporting and showing love.
There it is. All right, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of More to the Story. The guys take over. Stay tuned for another episode. We'll see you next week.
LaRue.